Alec Lasley from thehoosier.com. He's with me back again. Plenty to talk about. A lot of visits. Did the Booker visit, Asa Newell visit. And I guess let's start with Newell since that was back earlier in the week.
Yeah, yeah, it's a top 35 2024 forward. He was here for an event in Indy and decided to take that obviously unofficial visit for Monday, where he received the scholarship offer from Indiana. So obviously a significant step in his recruitment there. But talk to him and his dad. They were blown away by the visit. His dad said it was by far the best unofficial visit that they've had so far. They've taken numerous visits, whether it's through kind of team camps, whether it's through just basic ones with him and Asa as well. So Indiana's laying the groundworks. Obviously, 2024, so still a ways away, but comparing him to what Trace Jackson Davis is kind of able to do in the offense, showing a lot of film of what Trace did last year, of kind of how they're going to use him again this year. Same with Race Thompson, kind of the pick and pop, able to play out on the perimeter aspect of Asa's game. And he's a Montverde guy. So they're starting to build that pipeline. They understand that these guys from Montverde are not only more physically ready to compete at the highest level, but IQ wise and mentally, they're much farther along than some of these other freshmen that come in. So very good visit. Asa said it exceeded his expectations going into that visit. So Indiana did a very good job with that one. Very, very well prepared, and now have a really strong foot to stand on when they continue to push for him here, obviously, in the coming years.
This is the prototypical Mike Woodson guy that he would love to have. I look at him. He looks like he's such a baby, but he's 6'9". He's got a lot of growing to do, not upwards but outwards. But man, he can shoot from behind the arc. And if you've got a 6'9" kid that can shoot from behind the arc, you got something special already.
Yeah, and the one thing that Asa was saying when talking to him, the biggest kind of difference in his game from even this high school season is him really starting to grow into his body. He's very long, very athletic, very lanky. Like you said, doesn't have a ton of weight on him. It's one thing that he's really going to prioritize, and that was part of that move to Montverde to get physically ready and go up against these guys every day, have the weight training program down there to get him prepared for the college level in a few years. But that's the biggest thing in his confidence and knowing now what he can do, what he can't do, but really growing into that body and that athletic ability that he does have to be able to play on the perimeter, play on the inside, but still has the handles to take some guys off the dribble. Really, really skilled rising junior.
And the fact, again, Mike Woodson's previous experience in the NBA, working with big guys, working with guys like this, working with big names, is paying dividends, because once they get them on campus, if they didn't know that then, they find out, and it makes a huge impression on guys like Asa Newell, because guess what? They all want to get to one place, the NBA.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one thing that they both said. Just the experience that he has, and we've heard this from numerous parents, high school coaches, AAU coaches, anyone involved in someone's recruitment. What they've said about Mike Woodson is obviously the experience he's had, not only as a player but a coach in the NBA, having that ability to know what it takes to get there, the development. And I think we're starting to see that with some of these guys in just a short period of time at Indiana. But that weighs a lot on a lot of these recruits, especially in the coming classes, when they're going to be able to see more and more of what Mike Woodson's able to do, and already knowing what that resume looks like. That obviously goes a long way when you're trying to say, hey, I know how to get there. It's a lot easier to actually say that when you've been there, and obviously Mike Woodson has.
And then the Booker visit. What's the word on that? How that went?
Yep. So talked to a couple people around the family, and said by all accounts that the visit went pretty well. Was able to watch practice, able to have some conversations more in depth, not as kind of broadly as what they have been up to this point with Mike Woodson, more of kind of how he would be fitting into that system. But you look at the roster, and they have a great recruiting pitch of, hey, let's come in and you're going to play immediately, right? We'll try to pair you with what you think you do best, with someone who's still expected to be there, and Malik Renault, who's more of a inside threat, whereas Xavier Booker's more of kind of that outside in hybrid forward. But Race Thompson's not going to be there. Trace Jackson Davis isn't going to be there. There's a lot of movement in that front court, and they're going to have the minutes available for him to kind of come in and play his game. And he's exactly, you're just talking about Ethan Newell. Xavier Booker is another guy who is kind of skill wise what you would want in a Mike Woodson offense to pair with a Malik Renault, a guy who can hit some outside shots. So the conversations were a lot more, revolving around this is how you would fit in our system, opposed to kind of more broadly speaking of, hey, we want you. So they're starting to kind of get into the details, and his recruitment is still a ways out from making a decision. We just got an offer for Gonzaga this week. Kentucky starting to reach out. Duke already offered. Would expect a visit to happen in this fall, most likely to go out to Duke. So this is a national recruitment. This is a true blue blood recruitment for Xavier Booker, and it's going to be very interesting with these 5 official visits as a senior where he's going to go. I would assume we'll see some sort of list cut before then. But there's a lot of teams that are still in there. He's taken a lot of visits. I will say he has taken a lot of unofficial visits to a lot of different programs. So I think he's really doing this the right way, with such a rise now up to the number 2 overall prospect in the class. Whereas this time last year he was unranked. So kids can get overwhelmed with that sort of rise, but from all accounts, he is doing it the right way, and really trying to figure out not only which system is going to work best for him and his skill set, because there's not many guys that have that athletic ability at 6'11" who can shoot the ball, handle the ball like he can. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens once we get past the summer months and into the fall, kind of where those visits align.
Indiana made another offer this week. Aiden Sherrill. He's a top 50 forward in the 24 class. And going out to Wasatch Academy out in Utah. He's from Norcross, Georgia, which Georgia's another place that Indiana seems to be developing a pipeline. Caleb Banks. There's someone else that's already on the team that's from Georgia, I believe.
Well, even they also have Ja'Kai Newton. And a lot of this stuff is built around Yazir Rosemond, who was originally from the Georgia area. So that's kind of that relationship there. Top 50 guy, obviously just kind of getting going.
Another 6'10" guy, another big 6'10" guy.
Yep, athletic. Again, kind of that prototypical Mike Woodson forward that you're really looking for. Kind of every one of those really fit the mold. But yeah, obviously super young, just kind of really started that sort of recruitment with Indiana right now. They also extended an offer to 4-star guard Jaden Mustaf. So, they're starting to get some more names involved in that 24 class. A lot of the relationships in the 2024 class are already, I would say, a step ahead of maybe a lot of other programs, just because of the start that they got off to in the class of 2023, with obviously Gabe Cupps and Ja'Kai Newton pretty early on in that recruiting cycle. So they're doing everything that they need to do. They're going to get these kids on campus. There's no doubt about that. And what we obviously have just talked about with some of these visits is the Indiana staff is blowing away these families and recruits when they get on campus. And I think the more and more this happens, you're going to start to see more top 50, top 40, top 20 type talent get to Bloomington and start to actually land a lot more of these kids. And that started with Jalen Hood-Schifino, obviously went to Malik Renault. And now you're going to start to see that a lot more, especially at these powerhouse national programs.
There are currently 15 offers out for the 2024 class in Indiana, and this may not be updated, but of those 15, I see 0 Indiana kids on this list.
For 24.
Yeah. Is that accurate?
That's accurate. They're casting a wide net. A lot of it is nationally. A lot of it is, again, at these powerhouse type programs that you don't really tend to see a lot of with Indiana in the past. This is what Mike Woodson wants. These are the highly skilled players around the country. He's still sticking in the Midwest. You see some Illinois. There's some Ohio offers, but he's going out there and really relying on these assistant coaches that he has and the relationships that Kenya Hunter has on the East Coast. Ezekiel Roseman has kind of in the Southeast there in the Georgia, Alabama, kind of Florida areas, and Kenya Hunter there in the Northeast. So they're going nationally. This is no surprise. We continue to talk about this, and that's the only way that Indiana is going to kind of jumpstart this national run that they're trying to make, and kind of skip over a couple years and get there a lot quicker by getting these national level players.
And I understand you have to just get the best players. It doesn't matter where they come from. But is the 24 class down in Indiana?
Yeah, I mean, the past couple classes haven't been great in terms of high major impact level talent in Indiana. You get back there in 2025 with Jalen Harrelson and Trent Sicily, but that's kind of where you see that jump again. And there's some other really high level players in the 25 class. But yeah, 24 is still a little bit down. You have Canyon Catchings, who has an offer for Purdue, who's been on campus. He's a forward, kind of wing forward who plays for Brownsburg, also on the Indy Heat team with Sicily and Harrelson. So Indiana's seen a lot of him. He would probably be that guy in 24.
Who's that? What's his name?
Canyon Catchings.
Oh, Catchings, yeah.
Yeah, so he's probably that one guy in 24 that I would kind of keep an eye out as we sit here again on June 17th. There's still a lot of summer to go and still some live periods to go this summer to see more of these kids. But he's one name that I would expect to get an offer here as we kind of get into the fall.